Welcome to the EU Startups Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the show hosted by Marcin Lewandowski.
Hi everyone, this is Marcin Lewandowski and you're listening to the EU Startups Podcast. My guest today is Dionna Dorsey. In June 2022, Diona, alongside her co-founders Ryan Reynolds and David Griner, co-founded The Creative Ladder, a non-profit making creative careers more accessible to all, especially those from generally marginalized communities. As the CEO, Diona's mission is to connect, inspire, and elevate an inclusive new generation of creative talent and to highlight the opportunity deficit in Black and Brown communities. Welcome to the show, Diona. It's such a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for having me. I'm excited. And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Diona, so you mentioned your love for design starting with a coloring book as a child. Mm-hmm. Can you share a specific memory or a design from that time that still influences your approach for creativity today?
That's such a cool question. I don't seem to have a core memory, but I remember like there were times when I would very regularly color in the lines, and then there were times when I would very regularly not color in the lines. And my parents were wonderful to allow me to just sort of explore my creativity, whether I was ripping pages in half and taping different ones together, or hanging signs around the house that I had designed and created and colored. I remember receiving coloring books up until maybe my 25th birthday. They were always very supportive. Didn't fully understand what it was that I loved about coloring, but always really very supportive of that.
Amazing. So, from a coloring book to entrepreneurial ventures, did you ever think your childhood hobby would lead to a career where you're not just coloring inside the lines, but actually creating the lines themselves? And any chance, we'll see a limited edition Creative Ladder coloring book with integrated designs and career advice hidden in the pages?
I need to write that down. That's actually a wonderful idea. I can tell you, I never imagined that I would be co-founding and running a nonprofit. I have always known I would be an entrepreneur. Some of my earliest memories of playing as a child were of me owning shops, or me like having a business, or me telling other people what to do in a shop sense. Like whether I was selling fruit from my little kitchen, I had like a little kitchenette, or if I was selling baked goods from my easy bake oven. I think at one point when I was maybe 11 or 12, I was the owner of this mall called Garfinkel's, and I think I always knew that I would be an entrepreneur. I didn't know how, and at that age you don't necessarily know what that means, but I never imagined working in what I knew to be an office as a young girl.
Right. So dreams come true. That's the
come true. And sometimes you don't even realize like your dreams are really just sort of foreshadowing what the future, a version of the future could be.
Yeah. So, launching the Creative Ladder alongside Ryan Reynolds and David Griner sounds like a hell of a venture. Like, can you take us behind the scenes and share what sparked the idea?
Yeah, absolutely. If you could journey back to 2020, the summer of 2020, was the toughest year that I think any adult humans can remember in recent history, honestly. And David was at the time working at Adweek. Ryan was the keynote speaker for Adweek's Brand Week. Like everything else that year, especially that summer, it went virtual, from in-person to virtual. And part of the conversation, David was interviewing Ryan, and part of the conversation was around Ryan's group effort initiative, organization GEI, and how he was working to build equity and representation in Hollywood through that. And the question was, is this something that we could continue through advertising and marketing? And they continued pinging each other after the conversation. I was not there, so I'm just sort of recounting what I've been told. They were pinging each other. And the idea sort of came together for Creative Ladder, and they reached out that fall to invite me to be a third co-founder and to be the CEO. And to think that was over 4 years ago now, or nearly 4 years ago. It's like I said, I never could have imagined that I'd be co-founding a nonprofit, or that we would have the ability to make such deep impact that we've had over the last year and a half.
Mm-hmm. So as CEO, your mission is to highlight the opportunity deficit in underrepresented communities and to connect, inspire, and elevate an inclusive new generation of creative talent. So how do you see the Creative Ladder addressing this challenge?
Mm-hmm. We do that through several of our programs, both in person and virtual. We are slowly, and I hope more quickly, becoming known for our boot camps that we've had in a couple of different cities, and here in the United States. And our goal is to provide people opportunities to be in the same room with folks that look like them or have similar backgrounds to them, and for them to get confidence and inspiration and upskill from leaders in the field who are reflective of their background and who have been through the trenches and who can, share quite openly, directly, vulnerably the challenges, the highs and the lows, and how they've navigated them, as well as provide them guidance for how to navigate their own careers moving forward. We also have several different virtual events, and one of our programs that I'm most excited about is our RLA. It's our Rising Leaders Academy. It's a 6-month program where folks, anywhere between 16 to 20 people, they meet quite regularly over the course of 6 months, and they work, collectively and intrinsically on their leadership skills. How to better understand themselves, to better understand the type of leader they are, so that whenever they're going back to work, they're able to connect with their teams, they're able to lead in ways that allow them to be authentic and true to themselves, and then also, achieve all of their desired outcomes while they're working.
It's such an amazing initiative. I'm a big fan of it, and that's also why I decided, to reach out to you and to get you on the show, because I really wanted to listen to this firsthand and learn more about it. I know that networking plays a crucial role in the creative industry, and so how do you plan to create networking opportunities that go beyond the usual mixers and truly foster, meaningful connections for the young creatives?
That's a really big part of our in-person events. Again, the pandemic was a few years away, but we're still really feeling the brunt and the results of that. Quite frankly, there are so many creatives who probably started working just before the pandemic, and they got moved to a virtual office, or potentially we're working hybrid, and we're encountering that several of our attendees, they're maybe never been to their office. They don't have an office anymore. They're generally home, very isolated and working alone. And so when we have our opportunities to gather, when we're visiting and going to different cities, that's one of the biggest things that we're really sort of hyper focused on, is making sure that our attendees get to know and meet with each other, so that once we leave the city, they're able to remain connected. We have Slack channels for folks. We're constantly trying to get people engaged on our social media channels as well. But just helping everyone understand, while you might be the only person of color or the only person from a marginalized background on your Zoom account, for all of your meetings, you're not the only person who's going through some of the issues and challenges and wonderful experiences that you are. And it's great to be able to expand your network beyond just the people who you work with day in and day out. And so we are looking to continue those conversations beyond once we leave the city. Our last boot camp was in Los Angeles, and we had, not only the boot camp, but at the end we have a reception so that people are able to connect and hopefully exchange information. And we sort of encourage them, like, as you're going forward and you're having issues or questions, obviously you can always reach out to the Creative Ladder for guidance, but round this out with your peers and your networks, and understand that you all can meet for happy hours, you all can meet for lunch, you all can meet for evening mastermind sessions on your own while we're not here. Really, the goal is just to help folks understand that you're not alone. We want to help create a mesh web, if you will, of folks that allow people to be connected, get access to mentors, and also just not feel so isolated and alone.
Beautiful. Speaking of the events, because you already mentioned them, so creating memorable experiences is a key part of what you do. So can you maybe share an experience or an event hosted by Creative Ladder that left a lasting impression on you and both you and the participants?
On me, I don't think I could choose one. They all make me very emotional. What I love most is when you see people at our in-person events early on, when everyone's attending and sort of walking into the room, people are a bit shy, you're unsure who's all going to be there, you maybe don't know anyone else in the room. And by the time we get to lunch, you see everyone kind of really convening and gathering, chatting and having a good time. And by the time you get to the reception at the end of the day, folks don't want to leave. People are taking pictures. You can see that people are exchanging information. It's really very heartwarming. I think virtually our self-leadership and well-being conversations, that workshop is, we've had 2 now, and it is it's a really special time together because we are most open and vulnerable and just really very transparent about the challenges and navigating like the significance of making sure that you're taking care of yourself holistically, and that includes your well-being as well. So I feel like all of the experiences are my little babies. I really can't choose one over the other.
Awesome. Diona, so the Creative Ladder offers leadership training and mentorship. I was wondering, do you have a mentorship experience that shaped your own journey?
Absolutely. It's the fact that I still don't really have one. I think the fact that I've had adjacent, like mentorship adjacent experiences, but I've never had one full mentor that I could totally go to, week in, week out, month in, month out, for guidance and direction.
Yeah.
And that in itself has really led my part of my drive and passion for helping to build communities and for providing access and connectivity to our rising leaders, making sure that they're able to connect with people who understand their backgrounds, their experiences, their communities, their cultures, to help them know that it's not as simple as, hey, I did it, you can do it too.
Right.
It's never just 1 + 1. And having someone who understands on a deep level it makes things a lot, you feel less isolated, you feel more seen, you feel valued. And my hope is that as we continue building out the creative ladder and growing our community, that everyone is able to walk away at some point and say that they had an experience with either a peer or perhaps an older, more experienced, more tenured mentor that really sort of helped shape their growing career.
100%. Diona, so collaborating with Ryan Reynolds on the creative ladder sounds like a unique partnership. How did this collaboration, actually you already said how did this come about, but maybe what qualities in Ryan do you think will bring a dynamic perspective to the creative ladder's mission?
Yeah, Ryan he is a human being who leads with his heart, and his heart is, I think it's like 2/3 of his body. He's just a wonderful human being who believes in spending his privilege. So he is probably one of the most recognizable humans on the planet, I would guess to say. And he loves providing access and opportunity and using those resources to bring more attention to some of the issues and the challenges that many people are facing in the advertising and marketing industry. And he's just a very generous, kind-hearted human. Wonderful co-founder.
Amazing. So for the young creatives tuning in, what advice do you have, for those who may feel their path is less accessible or known? How can they navigate the creative landscape and find meaningful opportunities?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. I think the first thing I would want to say is just understand that you have everything within you to succeed. Be confident in your ability, kick out that imposter syndrome, and do the work that's necessary so that you can remove the potential thoughts of imposter syndrome. And be open, ask questions, let people know about your challenges and your struggles, talk about your dreams, your goals, your plans, and be open and honest and direct with yourself about where you think you are, where you'd like to be, the person you are, what's desired, like what is needed for you to get to these places. Not everybody wants to be an executive. Not everybody wants to work a 9-to-5 job. Some people want to work and be freelancers. Some people want to work and own their own shop. I think it's important that while we're making our goals, that we put ourselves on our to-do list at the top and the bottom of that list in order to get closer to our goals, but that we honestly take like an audit of who we are now and what it is that it will take to get there. And write that out too. It's not just about the goals. It's about what is necessary, what's needed to get to the goals is just as important. And taking good care of yourself and resting, I think, is really very important too. You have to make sure that you have some time away.
Love it. Looking into the future, what impact do you want to create with, you already also told us about it a bit, but maybe you can elaborate a bit on the impact that you want to create with the creative ladder, and how would you define success in terms of the lives it touches and the opportunities it creates?
Yeah, I think ultimately the biggest success would be that there's no longer a need for the creative ladder, that there's, there is no longer an underrepresented community in advertising and marketing, and that it's wholly reflective of the communities and the people that it serves. I think ultimately it would be wonderful to know that this next generation that we are working with now, when they think about how they accessed these newer rungs, these higher rungs on the creative ladder, that our name plays into a part in their journey. And one that people just know that we are an organization that very truly centers underrepresented creatives, their needs, their wants, and that we're here to inspire and elevate.
Amazing. I love it, Diona. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I wish all the best to you and the Creative Ladder. Maybe to end off this interview with a bit more or even more personal question. When you're not trying to, create more opportunity for underrepresented communities, and when you're outside of the business world, what is Dionna Dorsey all about?
Yeah.
What do you do?
It's funny because the first thing I thought about was this weekend. I just slept. All I did was sleep, just to sort of from my holiday. Outside of resting, I really love to be with my family and my friends. I spend as much time as possible with my nieces, and my nephews. I love spending time and traveling with my friends. I love spending time with my dog, Coco LaRue. And I love to travel and visit to new and different places. I think it really helps spur my creativity, just sort of exploring. And I like to cook and eat, but I like to cook, yeah.
What do you cook?
I'm vegan, vegetarian, so I'm vegan at home. I'm vegetarian when I'm out. It's tough in the United States to be like vegan out when dining. So I do a lot of roasted veggies and creating different types of vegan or vegetarian bowls. I think it's a form of it's like feeds a form of my creative desire.
Got it. I know because you told me that you've been to India, right?
Yes.
And so I was actually wondering because, India is known for its spices, and they just make food so flavorful.
Okay.
And I know my wife is from India, and she's been vegetarian throughout her life, but the flavors, how the food tastes, what she cooks, what she prepares, I learned a lot from her about it as well. We actually bring our Indian spices directly from India when we go to visit family. They're made by her mom, and they're freshly, just not like some kind of commercial spice, but freshly prepared with heart. So I was just wondering if you like also some Indian.
Indian is actually my favorite food. I don't have a total Indian palate just because I can't do spicy food. So if I really love the taste and it's too spicy, I'll just add a little extra rice or extra naan or something. But yeah, I think, I've been vegetarian now for 4 years. I've been kind of vegetarian for 15 years. And you have to really train your tongue. Once you remove all of the products, all of the non-food from your taste buds, and you can taste the spinach, you can taste the sweet potatoes, you can taste all the beans, you can taste the true flavors of them all. I've spent time in Chennai, Bangalore, and Mysore, and
Chennai is awesome. It is some of the best Indian food there. So many flavors.
I literally had one of the best meals that I think I still dream about it. Cauliflower pakora. Like how? I guess I shouldn't say that. But oh my goodness, the best. I still, I can taste it right now. It's so good. The food is so good. I can't believe I said holy cow. I shouldn't have said that. Excuse me. I'm so sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. Amazing. Diona, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for this interview. I've been enjoying it a lot. Good luck with everything. Good luck with the Creative Ladder. I hope it will create a lot of value as it does, and way more value for people. And I hope to see you soon in Barcelona, since you're coming this summer.
I'll let you know when I'm headed your way this summer. Thank you so much. I really appreciated the opportunity to speak.
Thanks so much. Ciao.
Ciao.